So on this one, I'm going to talk about lime rendering and lime skimming, basically lime plastering. Not going to go into too much detail on this short video as it's only going to be about 5 minutes long. But quickly, what most of the backgrounds are is red brick. Some is actually just replastering over the old lime walls. I'll talk about that and show all the details. And in the background here, I'm actually lime scudding the red brick in preparation for the scratch coat.
What we doing live? Echoes in eternity.
So firstly, I just want to show some of the patches here, and some lath were actually replaced, believe it or not, and quite a large area over to my right, I'll show you that later on, was completely relathed. The original guys had used plasterboard and bonding, but we have to keep to the original lime and lime plaster as much as possible, as this building is listed. So obviously the mix here, we do have fibres in this mix, and a hell of a lot of fibres too. Could have done with slightly readjusting some more lath on this one, but the owner just wanted as little taken off as possible in the room, so we literally just cut it back until it sort of got tight, and then cleaned the lath out and repaired any broken ones. And here we are, going again, getting it filled out. Not the easiest stuff to work over the top of, lath and plaster, certainly not plasterboard. Something completely different. The wall to the left there was completely redone, not by ourselves. Other plasters had it scudded, scratched and floated, so we just actually had to skim it, where the rest of the room hadn't been touched. So we're here just putting it right. So obviously I'm just working off the existing wall here, so speed skim works pretty well just to get it level with the wall as is. And this is now the float coat, so all the scratching done, all the building out work done, and this is probably the easy part compared to that. Getting it sort of ruled off, filled out, and then just rubbing the float over for a nice key. Again, we put fibres in all the coats all the way through, except for this coat. This is the finishing plaster to go over the top. But I want to show you this again. So obviously it's okay to go over everything we've keyed up here, and then what the owner wants is basically like a reskim. The top half where you see white here is actually, it's a lime primer. It has grit in it. So paint that on 24 hours previous before you reskim. There's the sides not done. I keep saying reskim, just because it's a wee light coat you're putting over the top. And again, I will go into bigger detail on how that plaster is finished. Not just as easy as skim, and does take a bit more patience. As you can see, it just doesn't spread just quite as nice as skim. But again, I must admit, compared to the other plaster on the other video you've seen us use, this stuff is much nicer to work with. I do prefer it over the lime putty, and re-skimming over that grit. As long as you prep the walls, get all the paper off, anything flaky, and again maybe go round and fill out all your sort of broken bits, make them all sound and solid again. This skim is definitely, I could see a marketplace for it. I do think it's very expensive to buy, and again equally is expensive to use, because you're not doing, we were doing big large areas, but we were only doing one large area really at a time. Weren't going too mad too far. Again, well, we've already had a wee bit of play with this stuff in previous rooms that weren't fully completed. As I say, we sort of just took over the job. Think the other plaster ended up too busy, so we're just here taking over and finishing up bits and pieces for the homeowner. Again, some really good videos to come from this job, even down to cornice run in situ. But hopefully we can change that and maybe run on the bench and just screw and glue it up. But I think the owner wants to keep it to the exact way it was done. But we'll see, because it's quite a large cornice and running it in situ is going to be quite a lot of work. Looks easy, running cornice in situ. It does really look easy. I do get it quite often. People would phone me and say, "Should you just run the thing across?" But it just looks easy. It's not easy, guys. And there's a lot of people out there that do run the plaster cornice in situ that are much better than myself. But again, hands up to them. That is not easy work. But yeah, back to this plaster. More videos to come on this.
What we do in life echoes in eternity.
Aww.